Hello and welcome along to this video. I'm making this video as more of a response to a question I got asked when I was talking to Leon from Leon Talks Film online, and he was saying that he had never seen really or got into Laurel and Hardy, and he was wondering where's the best place to start. Now, funny enough, that's a great question to be asked, and also as well, you assume that everybody in the world has seen Laurel and Hardy, as I think they are the greatest comedy duo of all time, as a lot of people do as well. But obviously he didn't know where to start to build a collection of Laurel and Hardy movies. Now, Laurel and Hardy have made well over 100 films together. Most of them are short films, and there's a few feature films, and they have been released over the years in various different forms, and some really bad and some really good. So I thought, as this video, maybe other people are thinking about how to start a Laurel and Hardy collection off, or where's the best place to go for it. So I thought I'd run through the things that I've got and just tell you maybe a quick way to sort of start your stuff off with Laurel and Hardy and get the best viewing experience, because there's a lot of poor versions of the films out there that might, if you get that one first, you might think these are not as good as I thought they were going to be. But you could, if you start at the wrong end, then you haven't really put yourself in the good way of going forward. Okay, so anyway, so briefly, I first saw Laurel and Hardy way back when they were shown on TV, and I fell in love with them instantly. And also couldn't wait to see. It seemed like they just seemed to be never-ending films of theirs. 20 minutes long they were, and I thought, I've got to see these. And sometimes there was one coming on, I thought, I've never seen this one before. And I think the first thing I got that was basically my introduction into Laurel and Hardy world physically was this book over here. Now, this book over here is I used to collect books a lot, and it's got some amazing stuff in it. And this has got lots and lots of stuff about all the films, all to do with how they started off, how they progressed from silent into talkies, about the personal lives. And the best thing about it is, at the end of it, it's got a filmography, and it tells you everything that were released together or even separately. But I think some of these are a bit out of date, because I know there's other films that have been discovered that aren't talked about in this. Now, as you'll see, me being a young kid, I did cross off the ones that I got, and just so I could keep a tally on them to see if I could actually collect the whole lot. And I can see there's a few here that I haven't ticked for, but I know that I have got. So this is my first introduction. So I knew from this what I needed to see, and I did used to tape them off the television. And every now and again on a Sunday morning, they used to show a short film and a feature film. And I used to love the pair of them. I used to tape them. When I got myself a video recorder, I used to tape all the stuff I could get my hands on, and I built a library of stuff that I taped off the TV. Now, after that, on VHS, they did start to release them in a Virgin collection on VHS, and there was a big collection of these, and I think I had most of them. I've still got them, actually. This is just one I've just picked up to show you what you get. So these were the best versions of them on VHS, even though the picture quality was a little bit ropey at times. But you thought, with them being recorded in the 30s, what else did you expect? Little did we know that negatives could be gone back to and brought to life again, but that's for later in the video. So yes, so they were the sort of ones that you started off with, the early VHS, and obviously there was other ones as well that released. I think this is a W.H. Smith exclusive video, the World of Laurel and Hardy, which would be a documentary, and I think I think there was a few of them in this thing, and they had this is the funniest moments from Laurel and Hardy's most hilarious films. I think this is more like a compilation. Now, there's a few compilations that I don't think have seen the light of day. Two that spring to mind is Laurel and Hardy's Laughing 20s, which is a film that was released all about their silent films, and it used to be shown on TV all the time. And I think I've did tape it off TV, and it's brilliant. And I don't know it's made any journey into anything, VHS or even Blu-ray, or not Blu-ray, DVD or anything. So but you could get these ones here. They were all over the place, and these were in quite good quality. My rule of thumb was, if you saw one in a good box, then it looked like it'd had some attention paid to it, then you could think that the thing inside it was going to be good. If it was in a really cheap box or a cheap looking version of it, you would think this is going to be trash. Then came the day when Laurel and Hardy were released on DVD, and it was a massive thing. But what happened? They released all of their, well, not all of them, but most of their short films and some of their feature films on a box set. Now the box set was 100. I think when it came out it was about £100. Now you get 21 discs in it. So it's not a bad value for money actually, but £100 is going to be a lot of money in this, and this is way back in the day. So I thought to myself, I'll wait till it comes down in price. Then one day I was in HMV and it came down to £50. So I thought, I'm having that. So this is the box set that I got. Now this, as you can see, is a bit of a monster. And it's lovely as well. It used to sit on my shelves when my shelves were, excuse me, when my shelves were in the next room. But on this, there's just no space for it. It's too big, and also it's too heavy as well. It would pull the shelves down, so it has to live in the cupboards. It's a bit unfortunate, but I want to keep it in good condition. Of course I do. So if you open this box up, I mean it's really well done. I mean, I bought this years ago and it's still in perfect condition. And I think I got this in another box actually, another release of something. I thought, oh, I'll put that in there. So it's the Ultimate DVD Collection, available to buy as a collector's edition. 21 DVD box set, including exclusive bonus rarities disc or 20 fantastic single discs releases, each featuring an 8-page booklet from all your good video rental stockists from May 2004. Wow. So that was that. So funny enough, when you're talking about single releases, my son started to buy them on single releases, didn't get the box set, and you could buy them. And I mean, you can still buy these now occasionally. I think they've got them in CEX for next to nothing. And this is number 1. And it does come with a booklet there. And the booklet is, it's not bad. It's not great, but you get a few little things about the film. So what they did was, they would probably release on the release of like a feature film or a couple of shorts. This one's got a feature film, but it's also got the colorized version of it, which if you like that sort of thing, fair enough. It was funny because I was showing my young nephew one of these films and he didn't like it in black and white, and he didn't get it. He didn't want to watch it, but I put the colored version on it and he watched about 3 or 4 of them. He loved them. So it just shows you. And you get a silent film on here, and you also get version of a short one, but colorized as well. So that's the type of thing that you would get on a disc like this. So that was your single releases. So getting back to the box set, this is what you get inside. Now, as you can see, even on the shelves, if you had them on the shelves, it makes up the 2 bowler hats, which is Laurel and Hardy's sort of one of the trademarks. And I don't know if you noticed that the boxes themselves, the different colours of them. When I got them, they weren't all silver and they weren't all white, and I haven't got enough silver boxes or enough clear boxes, and enough white boxes, so I had to I mixed them so they were like, because you know my thing about colours. So anyway, getting on to Laurel and Hardy, and wow, this is hard to hold. So yes, so this one here, 21, is a disc that came with a box set, and I think you couldn't buy it separately. But weirdly enough, my son has got the disc 21 in his collection, which I can't really remember why he's got that, or how he's got that. But moving on, fast forwarding on today, can you still get this box set? Because for me, when this came out, this was the definitive way to collect Laurel and Hardy. It's got a running time of nearly 69 hours in there. Now, can you still get it? Because for me, if you ever want to check out, like Leon wants to check out Laurel and Hardy, and I was telling them, if you go for this box set, and you don't like it, and it's only going to be on Amazon today, it is £23.98, but it's a smaller version of that, which in a way, I mean, I like the fact that box set is there, and I like the way it's like big and all that type of thing, but Sometimes you feel that it's maybe a bit too big. Well, obviously if this had the smaller one, it would go on the shelves. If you go to CEX, you probably pay more than £23. So for me, plus as well, it would probably be well looked at. You pick the discs out and they're broken up into things like Ollie and Matrimony, which this one has two versions of most of the films in here. Most of the films here have been colorized, although not all of them had. And you do get all the classics for me. The classics are the ones that, if you want to know what I consider where the classics are in Laurel and Hardy's world, there were silent films when they first got together. I think it was around about the mid-20s, and they first became Laurel and Hardy. They were working separately together. They're separately apart in other people's films. They would work with the likes of Charlie Chaplin and Charlie Chase and things like that. They would then progress to work together, and then they hit it off, and it was, that a legend was born. Now they moved into talkie films in around about 1929. That's when they came to life for me, because it's the banter between these two that makes the films of Laurel and Hardy. So from 1929 to 1935, they made 20-minute films or thereabouts. Sometimes they make a 40-minute film, and they did put a few feature-length films, which are around about the 60-minute mark, in amongst those ones, but maybe a handful. And for me, that's their golden period. Everything they did from that time is absolutely amazing, and that's where you see all the gold. So all the gold for me, or most of the gold, is in this box set, and you can get it now, say maybe just over £20. It's a smaller condensed set, and you will get this, and you will get the coloured versions in as well if you wanted to go that way. I personally don't like the coloured versions. I prefer to see it how it's meant to be. I think they look better in colour, better in black and white than they do in colour. I think the colorization on these ones, with them being quite an old colorization, doesn't really work too well for them. I don't think the process, although some of the films you see now that are colorized on YouTube, 60 frames per second, 4K colorization of old films, they look absolutely mint. I would love to see them do that with them. They might do that with them. There's more to come about that in 4K in a minute. This box set does take you up into the 40s, or the early 40s, and there is a couple of good films in there, but you can see the quality starting to dip a little bit when they start to go into feature-length films, because I think they could stuff loads of jokes into 20 minutes, but I think that when they got into the extended running time, it wasn't funny all the time for me, although there's some great feature-length films. Now, getting back to things that have been released, if you wanted to go after that, when this sort of box set finishes, and I think it might finish in about 1940, and that's the end of that box set. But they did continue making films after that. So after 1940, they made some more films, and they're not included in this box set. But the one that's omitted from everything is a film that they released in 1935 called Bonnie Scotland. Now, I haven't checked to see if this is on YouTube, but I know I've got a copy of it on VHS that I tape off the TV, and I do think it's one of their best films. And it just seems to just not turn up anywhere, but I could be wrong on that. There could be some other releases that might include this, or there might be a separate release of it. It's just one that I've never seen included on any set that I've come across in this period. I don't know why that is, because like I say, it's a good film, and it's made just at the end of their golden period as well. It's when I think it was the first film that they made when they continued making just feature films. If you're starting to go back and to do the next stuff, so say for instance Liam was going to do this, or anyone's going to start this off, and they don't go for this, and they pick up one of the later titles, and they might look at it and think, this isn't as funny as I thought it was going to be, or what's so good about this. For instance, about 1942, they released Flying Juices. Now this film here has always been in a very poor quality, and even though this says special edition, I don't even know what's special about it, because I don't think it's got anything. It says special features, but I can't read them on here. Might have a few little bits and bobs, but the quality on it is pretty bad, because it was in public domain for a long time, as some of these other films were, and they were just treated with they weren't done anything that was going to bring them to any favorable light. So to me, when you go for things like this, you've got to be careful, because there's plenty of cheap DVDs. And like I say, if you see something that looks cheap, just ignore it, because it will be cheap, and you'll not see that film in the best light you can see it. So speaking of that, The Flying Juices, which has always been one of my lesser favourite films, got a release on Blu-ray and it looks absolutely stunning. So I watched this again with a fresh eyes, and obviously with this enhanced picture quality, still in black and white. There's no colour version on here, and it looks absolutely brilliant, and I had a great time with it. So it just shows you that some of these films, if you come in at the wrong end, you might not think too much of this comedy duo. But this one here is a Blu-ray. It's highly recommended. It looks lovely on Blu-ray, because you think some of these ones, you think, oh, it's on Blu-ray, it must be good. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's been like a public domain thing and it's been thrown on. Now, getting onto more DVDs, there's just one here, which is a funny DVD, which was gifted to me by my good friend Holgos73, and it is this DVD, and it's I don't think it's a US DVD. I don't really know too much about it, where it originated from, but it's a good case. It's one of these cases that's quite unique, because you don't really see these cases anymore. It's like a sort of flipper disc. You can flip it onto one side and then turn it over and get the other stuff on the other side. Now the thing is, and I think there's some of these on this box set here, is the fact that there's two films on here called Be Big and Laughing Gravy. But what they did was, excuse me, they used to sell these films to a foreign market. Now, rather than dubbing the whole thing, they would film the scene. Some films would film twice. They would film the scene in Be Big, then they would take all of the people out. They would bring in Spanish or German actors and actresses, put them in the scene, and they'd do it again. And Stan and Ollie would say their lines in German or Spanish or French, and then they record that. So really, when they recorded it twice, a bit like Dracula was recorded twice. They made two films when they recorded Dracula. At daytime, they used to record Dracula with the English people, and then at night time they would do the same thing with a completely different cast and have it in Spanish. So you can get the Spanish version of Dracula as well as the English version, which is quite interesting. So they do a few of these with this with Laurel and Hardy as well. So in the midst of this happening, there's also, you get a few films like this, The March of the Wooden Soldiers. Now this is I can say it's a public domain DVD. It's not the best of films. It comes in the time when the it's got some good pieces in it. It's got some good little vignettes, and I do enjoy it, but it's not really in good quality. It needs to have an upgrade. It's one of them ones that sort of slips under the radar, and it took us ages to find. I think this was come from Holgos73 as well, because it was a one that just, they've got a lot of films that are like just not around, and when you try and collect them all, you do find there's a few gaps in your collection if you want to get every single thing that they've done, unfortunately. But there's, be aware that if you want to go and get everything by them, you've got to go mooching for a few of these titles that just don't seem to turn up on anything else. So after they did this box, so for me, you get this box set, you get everything that you could want in the classic Laurel and Hardy. Now, if you can find these DVD box sets for Laurel and Hardy, these have got 3 films on, and this is volume 1. It's got The Big Noise, Jitterbugs and Great Guns. Now these were the last 3 MGM films for Laurel and Hardy. I believe they're 1943, 1944, 1945. So I think it's Great Guns was the last official Laurel and Hardy film, but it wasn't. But we'll get more into that a bit later on. So this one here, and the picture quality on these is really good. Actually, they look lovely. Look, they're in black and white, and they've got separate discs. So they've got all the original artwork on it. So it's really good how they've done it. And there's also a volume 2 as well. Funny enough, volume 2 has ones that are like from earlier than that. You think they would have done them the other way around, but it doesn't matter. This one's got Dancing Masters, Bullfighters, and A Haunting We Will Go. I remember A Haunting We Will Go is a really good film, actually. I think that's 1942. They do make a few films a year, Bullfighters 1943, Dancing Masters, I don't know, 1942 I think. I'm not too sure on some of these dates on here, but These two will give you everything that they made after that. And the only one that's not on this from the last one, the last thing of Laurel and Hardy, is the last film they did. I was showing this before, that this Utopia is the cheaper DVD version of this, and it was in public domain forever, and you get different cuts of it, and usually it's very poor and ultra poor quality, but you had to have it because it was the last film that it did. Stan Laurel had a bit of bad health at this time, so he didn't look too well. Bit unfortunate that they took this film at this time. Maybe they should have waited a year or two later, but I think they had an offer from people in France to make another film. So in 1951 they made, well, Utopia, or it's more commonly known to me is Atoll K. Now I got this has got tons of extras, especially early silent movies from Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, and it's got a lot of like behind this the real stories about the whole film, and interviews, and things where they go down to a place called Tynemouth, which is literally just down the road over there. If I threw a stone I could nearly hit Tynemouth. And they went to a place called the Grand Hotel, or the Plaza it was known, which burned down, and it's not there anymore. But I've been past that place 1,000 times, and to think Laurel and Hardy, and there's a video of them on there and on Tynemouth Beach, and they actually were in that place, is just amazing to me to think I was that close to Laurel and Hardy, obviously way before my time, but they still were in the area, because Stan Laurel is kind of from around the northeast-ish. So yeah, so that's the sort of overview of this Laurel and Hardy. I hope that was helpful to people who would want to get into this setup of Laurel and Hardy, but not really too sure. The short story is, try getting the hands on that box. That'll give you probably everything that you need to know as a starter pack for Laurel and Hardy. And then you would have to navigate, if you wanted to investigate further, you'd have to navigate to get these films. These are the later films, but there's a Blu-ray out of these films at the moment, and you can get it for about £10, but the Blu-ray is in 1080i, and I don't think you get much of an upgrade from these than you do. It's just as if these have been ported onto a Blu-ray, literally. And so if you can't get them on this DVD, by all means get them on the Blu-ray, that's fair enough. I don't know if you get all of these 6 films. I think you only get 5 films, so one of them might be missing off. Unfortunately, that's the thing with Laurel and Hardy. Like I say, some of these films, you know, they're not easy to sort of get a hold of if you want to be a completist, but that might be part of the fun of collecting Laurel and Hardy. When you get to a certain area, try and go for them, all of them. And just finally to say, there's a US version on Blu-ray, which is a really, really good version, and I want to get that myself, but I haven't got around to getting it yet. I had a look at it, and it's got 17 short films on, and I think it's got a couple of feature films on. Now, what I've heard on that is they've went back to the original negatives as far as they can, and they've struck off these amazing masters, and the films have come to life, and they have found little snippets of audio that they didn't know, something to do with the fact of the negative has audio on certain sides, and they didn't print the audio on some of it, and they found this extra audio on it, and I think there's swearing on it as well, where on one episode it's called A Perfect Day, where all they've got to do, I think I like about Laurel and Hardy is that the premise behind each episode is just a simple thing. They've only got to do one thing and everything goes wrong. It could be something really simple, by making a jigsaw. That was one episode, was a really famous thing about making a jigsaw, and the catastrophic events after that was to be seen to be believed. So yeah, so this Blu-ray that's come out, it's been released, it's been remastered in 4K, which begs to think, can they see some releases of theirs on 4K? Because I know there's been a lot of the silent films have been given a 4K remaster, so there's nothing to say that these could turn up in 4K, and the 4K remasters of them on Blu-ray look absolutely beautiful. Of the ones I've seen, particularly Buster Keaton. I haven't actually physically seen these ones, although I've checked some of them on YouTube and saw some clips, and they just look amazing, but it would look better on physical copies, which I will get. So but if you wanted to buy that, that's fair enough, to get like the ultimate picture quality on them. but I think the ones I've gotten there do miss out quite a lot of ones that's on this gigantic box set. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please check out Leon Talks Film, his channel. I'll leave a link down below, and hopefully that's helped Leon and maybe other people to think what they would like to see in the way of when they watch Laurel and Hardy, or want to dive into their stuff and don't know too much about them. Okay, so thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.